Well, hello everybody. How are you all today? I certainly hope better than the morning, well, the week that I've been having. Excuse me. Welcome. I need to explain myself. Today's video is an apology and an explanation, and I really need to get on with it and get to the point because this is take 5 this week. I have had nothing but technical problems for 3 weeks until I sorted. This is the only way I can do it, and there's very little, if any, editing at all, so it's not pleasant. Okay, but now, apology first. I had a serious bimbo moment earlier in the week when I'd posted the other video and I was explaining about changing the channel name and everything for next week. So I got on to figuring out what I was doing with everything and got straight onto Google accounts to change the name, and clean forgot that changing it on the Google account will change it on all of the Google products that I have right there and then, and it did, and it was the wrong name because somebody else already had that name, so I had to go and change it, blah 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 blah. It was a really stressful week, and thankfully, thanks to a wonderful friend, thank you Chris, she came to the rescue. Lifesaver, that woman always comes to the rescue. I don't know where I'd be without her, seriously. And after going through a few things, she suggested this name, the Blue Garden Cottage, and I, at first in my stress, didn't go with it because it didn't say what we were doing in my mind at the time. And then after going through all of it again and then rereading the message, I thought, hang on, it does say exactly, it doesn't matter. I will explain. Okay, no more rambling, I'm running out of time, we're at 2 minutes already. So, as you know from earlier in the year, I showed you that little table mat with the scene from a farmyard, courtyard with the house, the animals and the countryside scenery, and that was always the dream, to have a small hobby farm, a little small holding, or what I thought was the same thing in America was a homestead, and I decided to do a bit of research, and over the past few months I've been checking out internet information, dictionaries and all sorts to find the differences between small holdings, homesteading, cottage and cottage gardens, and of course cottage and cottage gardens going together. So I set out to do that. I wrote down every single bit of information that I could, and then underlined and ticked absolutely everything that applied to us. Here we are. That's one page. Excuse me. And more pages, right. And you can see all the ticks. So that was us. So I will just show you now. Okay. Immediately, there wasn't much. There was a little section that explained technically what a small holding is. Small holding is technically a business, and it is focused either on animals or plant, vegetables, edibles, or both, or a market garden or something like that, or community supported agricultural scheme. Those are basically what you'd get on a small holding. It is a business, and it's smaller than 50 acres but bigger than an allotment. So anything in between those, that's definitely not us. Definitely not. So we just scratched that one out. And then I went on to homesteading, which did have a start in 1862 in America as a specific scheme of getting land and actually having to stay on the land and work it, or keep it going for 5 years. You had to survive there for 5 years before you could claim that land, and for a small registration fee. And now, so that all changed by the 70s. It changed to back to the landers, which were young people who were trying to escape modern life in cities and towns, go back to land, live off grid, and be self-sufficient, as the term used to mean, or still means really. but it moved on to becoming not just out in the countryside, but including urban and suburban settings as well. So that is moving a bit closer. And then I found thehappyhomestead.co.uk, a really good website. I couldn't tell if they had a YouTube channel or not, but they, whoever it was in the homestead, Happy Homestead, also did a kind of check to see what the difference was. And between homesteading, for homesteading, it's, she says, or he says, whoever they are, it's about the home, the old crafts that are carried out within a large amount of time. Effort is dedicated to making, cooking, preserving, canning, sewing, and self-sufficiency based around all the homely skills. By definition, the term homestead is a home, and especially a farmhouse. Okay, so I ticked off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those terms that applied to us specifically. And then I went on to find out about cottages, because in our minds, traditionally, the image of a cottage is in the countryside, a small little dwelling with a chocolate boxy type thing, with thatched roof and a very pretty cottage garden. That's in full season, right? That's the traditional idea. But all the information that I found actually challenges those ideas. So technically, a cottage is a small house with a connotation of being older, old-fashioned. In modern usage, the cottage is usually modest, often cozy, semi-rural. We're semi-rural because I can see all the countryside out my living room window. That's my claim on it anyway. But we are small, I think fairly modest, and for me, cozy. Okay, in popular modern culture as well, the more general term is a romantic one, a romantic context, and can date from any era. Okay, typically a cottage is often semi-detached, that's us, or terraced, has only 4 basic rooms, 2 up, 2 down, that's 2 bedrooms upstairs, the living room and kitchen, well, the living room, dining room and kitchen. That's us. But subsequent modifications can create more spacious accommodation, like extensions and things like the bathroom. So technically on that bit of information, we have a cottage. Okay, that's it. We have a homestead, we have a cottage. And then the cottage garden, I went through what it says about it being distinct in style, and it uses informal designs, natural materials like wood and stone, which we have, dense plantings, our garden's completely densely planted, mixture of ornamental and edible plants, that's us. Okay, homely, functional, I'm just going to read through the ticked bits now. Practical, with emphasis on vegetables, herbs, fruit trees, and flowers. Okay, we don't have a beehive, or we don't have livestock, but we do have all the wild birds and insects that come to the garden, and other critters too. Perhaps with a rose-bowered gateway. We don't have, the gateway is not full of roses, but we do have arches. It has typically got primroses, violets, calendula, various herbs, old-fashioned roses and daisies, all of which we have. Modern cottage gardens also include countless regional and native plants, traditional roses full of fragrance, lush foliage, things like modern disease-resistant varieties as well, informal climbing plants, modern hybrids, self-seeding, annuals, and spreading perennials. All of those we have. And so, by all of those definitions, we can legitimately call ourselves a homesteading cottage and garden. And blue, well, you have seen, I've shown you so many times in this house, blue is everywhere in everything. It was subconscious, it was not intentional, it's just everywhere you look in this house. Blue has been a factor in our lives, and we thought, well, if blue is a theme for us, why not just go with it? Why not do it deliberately? And there isn't as much blue in the garden yet as there is in the house, but there now will be. Over the next few years, everything is going to have blue themes. Of course there'll be others, can't just have blue, it'll be a bit boring, but the main theme will be blue. And so legitimately, people, and I'm talking about details, we are legitimately a homesteading cottage and garden. So therefore, our name, the Blue Garden Cottage, thank you my darling Chris, is now the new name for this channel, as you can see, and I'm explain myself why. And if you look at Blue Garden Cottage and the Permaculture Shoestring Home and Garden, I hope you agree that the other one is much easier on the tongue. We're still going to be a permaculture thing. It's still what I believe in as far as living my life in tune and in compassion with nature and all living things, the whole planet, including people, and my efforts to try and have as minimal effect, negative effect on everybody and everything around me, and try to be as positive as possible. And that still includes the gardening, the zero waste efforts, the homemaking, everything that I try to do. So I hope that those who have left us because of that sudden change will come back. I miss you, seriously. So please do leave a comment below. I'm always open to suggestions and ideas, as long as they are family friendly, because this channel's open to everybody, and I don't want anybody to feel criticized or hurt or anything, but I won't. I just want you guys to be able to comment and share your experiences. And okay, let's get back to business now. I gotta get on with this crazy day. Next week I will show you what I've been doing in the garden. I've been doing a little bit of tidying up, and I'll tell you what else I'm doing. I've been studying a huge amount. So time is up. I need to get going. So let me know what you think. Really appreciate that. And in the meantime, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe, like, share, and I shall see you next week. It's lovely having you along. Take care. Bye-bye.